Hello, the Parrot Did It tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright BlueAnkylo with me, BlueAnkylo. Last episode, we gathered some evidence about the trial of Miles Edgeworth for supposedly murdering Robert Hammond, and we came to the conclusion, with chat's help, that the Parrot did it. So that's what we'll be arguing in trial today. I'm totally ready. I'm not happy to be dealing with this Von Karma guy again. I hate him. Very well, no opening statements. You can't object to judge, like, what the judge says. It's not allowed. Today's trial will end 3 minutes from now. Someone start a timer. Okay, I'm at 1:04 on my clock. Let's see. What is the meaning of your statement? Whatever. You call your witness. And there he is, the mysterious boat shop owner that does not even have a name. He was the accomplice to the Parrot's murdering. The proprietor of the restaurant Wet Noodle at Gourd Lake. And rent boats. Yep. Yeah, who is this guy? Objection! Wait a minute. The witness hasn't stated his name yet. Don't you object to objection. You need to know who he is. It's already been a minute. The witness will state his name. See, my objection worked. He doesn't remember his name. So basically, I would say at this point, anything that the witness can say is irrelevant because he doesn't even remember his own name. Does not remember anything beyond the last. Yeah, but if he can't remember his name, he doesn't really have a very good memory. You can't trust anything he says. No, that's not how it works, Karma. No. Just because you say he can't remember anything past 3 years doesn't mean he can remember every day perfectly. So there's some crazy old man, Fitz, that doesn't really have a very good memory that's going to give some testimony on the night of the murder. I don't believe him. It was the night of the 24th, just after midnight. Oh, yup, he doesn't even remember the time. I was in the restaurant where I rent boats, as usual. Then I heard a bang, yup. When I looked out the window, I saw a boat just a-floating on the lake. And I heard another bang. Just about then, the boat came back to shore, and a man walked by my window. Begin cross-examination. What? You can't object to the judge. Too bad, Karma. Too bad. Psst. He's actually correct. He was very close to exactly 3 minutes. That was just over 3 minutes now. Cross-examine. Ah! The timer is up. That's pretty good. It was more like 3 minutes and 30 seconds when he had his freak out, but it's pretty close. Guess that means I click buttons too slow and I'm not reading fast enough for you guys. Okay, it was the night of the 24th, just after midnight. Let's do lots of pressing here. This guy is unreliable. Just round then. Pretty sure. Yeah, yesterday you were rather vague about the time. I'm surprised you're so sure about it now. I don't think this guy... There's no jury or judge that would trust this guy. Besides, technically that's not correct. He said it was after midnight. Well, we know one shot was 12:15. The second shot was at 12:15. The first shot was... Well, she said just after midnight. But the problem with that is, like I said, somewhere in here, they've been reorganized. Ah, 11:50 was the first one. That's definitely before midnight. Anyway, we'll worry about that later, I think. No, we need something better than your parrot. In fact, Polly is the murderer from what I've heard. We cannot prove the witness was in the shop. That's great. He heard a bang. Hey, this time it's Karma asking if he's certain. Good, continue. Nice. When I looked out the window, I saw a boat just a-floating on the lake. Was there someone in the boat? He couldn't really see. But probably two men. At the time. Then I heard another bang. That would be the second shot. Just about then, the boat comes back to shore and a man walks by my window. That's the other bang, lols, yeah. Right outside the window you saw... Uh-oh, now what? So, okay, we got him to add more testimony here. Man walks by my window. The man was the defendant. He was saying, I can't believe he's dead. Dead certain. He said, I can't believe he's dead, as he was walking by, too. Oh, we killed him. Heart attack. Witness has succumbed. It does sound fairly decisive. Well, it's still just... You know, you saw someone walk by. I don't like it either, Maya. Well, we better do something, so raise an objection. Objection! I object! Yeah, we proved yesterday that it could not have been Edgeworth who fired that gun. Yes, indeed. He could have wiped his prints. Continue objecting! All we have is one old man's word who seems very suspicious. Yeah, if he wiped... Yeah, you're correct, Fitz. If he'd wiped the prints, you wouldn't have left-hand or right-handed fingerprints from a left hand firing the gun. It's so dumb. Do we have evidence? Channel the older sister. The old man is still, like, on the ground dying. No one's even helped him. "15 minutes. You still got 5 more. The witness may leave the stand." Well, that didn't work out so well. But your evidence is all terrible. It's... I don't like it, guys. What? I didn't even get a chance to do anything. Wait! Somebody help! Larry? What are you doing here? You gotta listen to me. I was there in the park the night of the murder. I wasn't sure about it till just yesterday, but today I remembered it. The gunshots. He heard it too. Oh dear, what is Larry getting himself into? How did he sneak into court like that? I call for adjournment. I was sitting here in the audience listening to the testimony, then I realized something he said was different from what I remember. Anyhow, I can't just sit here and let you call Edgy a murderer. It's just not right. Alright, well, buddy, let's see what you got. I'm pretty sure you'd all be thrown in jail for contempt of court, but whatever. Trial is over. Alright, Larry. He could make things worse. It doesn't get worse than Edgeworth going to jail. Very well. If there is another witness, it is our duty to hear him speak. Right here, right now. You are correct, Judge. Withdraw. Hooray! Let's get some more information. Haha! Von Karma has been ordered. Hammer. Court is adjourned. Well, Larry, I don't know what you're getting yourself into, but I mean, thanks for trying to help. I'm not so sure about that. We're a terrible lawyer in this case. We've barely done anything. Yeah, he was at the lake, but he said he left, or he found it before The actual murder. A lot of things. You seem out of it. What's wrong? Yeah, why are your fingerprints on the gun anyway, if you didn't do it? When he fell into the lake, I went into a daze. I couldn't understand what had happened, couldn't think straight. Then I saw the pistol lying on the floor of the boat in front of me. I picked it up without thinking. I didn't have a reason, really. It's not a good start. Von Karma has only ever run perfect trials. Perfectly prepared witnesses. Perfectly complete evidence. That's the secret. This is the first time we've had to deal with something unexpected. He has let someone he hasn't even talked to testify before the court. And that someone is Larry. It's likely his testimony will be full of holes, right? Everything depends on Larry. Ha! We're doomed. Okay, back in the session. Let's try this again. Testify! Yeah, don't mess this one up, buddy. The night of the murder. That night, I was out in a boat on the lake. I was looking for something, and I found it. So I quietly slipped the boat back at the rental shop dock. Then, just as I was thinking about going home, I heard a bang. I looked out over the lake, but I didn't notice the boat. So after I heard that single gunshot, I went home. Haha! That would be a flaw with some of these other testimonies, and it might match up to the timing better. That was unusually vague. Cross-examine! There's no way but forward. Alright, Larry. He was out in a boat on a lake. There were so many things wrong, I don't know where to begin. First off, what time was it? After 11, when I went out on the boat. By that time, everyone had gone home for the night. So I waited until the coast was clear, so to speak. And why were we out in a boat at such a late hour? I was looking for something, and I, found it. Looking for something? Not totally. We actually know he was just looking for the Gordy/Steel Samurai balloon. So I quietly slipped the boat back in at the rental shop dock. Around what time was that? It was around 12. Then, just as I was thinking about going home, I heard this bang. Where did the sound come from? Yeah, well, I wasn't too sure about that. I looked around, you know. I looked out over I looked out over the lake, but I didn't notice the boat. Wasn't there a boat on the lake? What a crazy question, right? It was real foggy. He's not sure whether there was a boat or not. No problem. That's just the most important part of this case. So after I heard that single gunshot, I went home. You only heard one bang. So what do we wanna poke at first here? I think it's probably the one bang more than anything. Heard that single gunshot, I went home. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. And this is gonna do it all over again. Hold on. He was thinking of going home, heard the bang, looked out over the lake, didn't notice the boat. After I heard that single gunshot, I went home. Okay, so, well, what is the best way to prove that we had two gunshots? Laura's deposition. Wait a sec, Larry. You only heard one bang, you're sure. But Miss Lotta Hart testified yesterday that she heard two bangs. And the old man just now said the same thing. They both heard two gunshots that night. Were you even listening? Were you paying attention at all to what they said? Yo, Nick! You know, something's been bothering me. I'm a witness, see? I'm like a customer here. You gotta treat me nice and stuff. He's not even sure. How could you not be sure? He was listening to something else. My radio, dude. And stop that booing. Waste of time. I do not accept this witness nor his shoddy testimony. It's no shoddier than your crazy old man with no name. Of course he should continue. Please give your testimony and be sure to include details like your radio. Sorry, Larry, we gotta keep pushing. So what did he hear? It's lonely being alone on Christmas Eve. That's why I was listening to an all-request show on the radio, see? I was listening to it real booming loud like. But I'm sure I heard that gunshot. I remember exactly what the DJ was saying when I heard it too. Isn't this a free country? Oh, karma. I object. He remembers exactly what the DJ said. The guy who says stuff. He says the things. When he heard the sound, no music was playing. The DJ only talks between songs, so he could have heard the gunshot from the lake. Let's cross-examine. We gotta find something that contradicts the old man. Yeah, I know it's lonely being alone on Christmas Eve. That's fine. All requests show on the radio. Sure. He was listening to it loud, but he's sure he heard the gunshot. This is the one we want to know more about. What did he say? Well, he might have said the time. Maybe someone has a recording of the DJ, of the radio from that night. We could prove exactly what time the gunshot went off. I'll only allow the question if you see some reason. We should care. Of course we should care. Why? How do you know if we don't ask? Just when she said, hey, it's almost Christmas, I heard the gunshot. So that had to be before 12. The most ludicrous testimony I've ever heard. One gleaming ray of hope. Alright, so what can I do with this? Well, technically, the old man said he saw the 2 gunshots after midnight. Just after midnight. Your Honor, did you hear what the witness just said? The DJ said, hey, it's almost Christmas, when he heard the gunshot. Yeah, there is times on the pictures. The one with the guy being shot was 12:15. The empty photo was 11:50. So there may have been 2 ways, but I think I got the right one. When he heard the gunshot, it was still Christmas Eve. Both of the previous witnesses are wrong about the times. It does. That contradicts the 2 testimonies we have heard so far, Your Honor. Both Miss Hart and the old man said it was after midnight when they heard the shots. In other words, when they heard the gunshots, it was already Christmas. This is a clear contradiction, Your Honor. Bam! What does this mean? Yes, so they say, so they say. This one says he heard it before midnight. The current witness is plainly mistaken. Nah. Suspicious. He's no more suspicious than the old man or Lotta Hart. What do you think about Mr. Butts' claim? Larry is right. He heard that gunshot before midnight. I, in fact, do. Shall give you even more evidence. One of these. He's not going to like this much. Once I find it. Okay, so this was the murder gunshot. 12:15. Well, supposedly the murder gunshot. It could have still happened earlier. Well, okay. This is the the gunshot in the boat in the lake. We have no idea if this was murdering. But we do know that there was an empty photograph before midnight. Look at this photograph. This was taken by our witness yesterday with the automatic camera. Oh yeah. But there's nothing on the lake in this picture. Your Honor, the real issue here is not why nothing is shown in this photograph. It's why this photograph exists at all. Do you guys remember the automatic camera from yesterday? Set to go off in response to loud noises. Aha! There was a loud noise on the lake at 11:50. That is why the photograph was taken. In other words, when Larry heard that gunshot, it was most definitely Christmas Eve. So, we have corroborating, I forget how to say that word, it's too long. This Ankylo only knows short words. Evidence for Butts' testimony. Yeah, we have two witnesses that testified about gunshots that are liars. Or something. It's a fact that the camera also triggered 15 minutes after midnight. Your Honor, that night there were two sets of gunshot with a 25-minute pause between them. Ooh. Tricky, tricky. Don't be fooled, Judge. That camera was set to respond to loud noises. There is no proof that the loud noise at 11:50 was a gunshot. Hold on! The witness could have sneezed, triggering the camera. Mm-hmm. There's no turning back now. Can you prove that the loud noise at 11:50 was indeed a gunshot? Well, like I said earlier, one of the things that we haven't had to use yet was the fact that the pistol was fired 3 times. The murder weapon. Something about this pistol was bothering me, Your Honor. Both of the witnesses who testified yesterday heard 2 gunshots. However, the murder weapon was fired 3 times. When then was the last shot fired? Only now have I realized the truth. That 3rd shot was the shot Larry heard just before midnight. So I guess the 2 shots must have been close together and then you only got 1 picture of them for the second 2 shots. That would make sense of the evidence we've seen so far. However, this leaves me wondering exactly what did happen that night on the lake. Well, that's what we're all trying to figure out. If this is true, there were 2 sets of gunshots separated by 25 minutes. One at 11:50, another at 15 minutes after midnight. Why? Why? Wait a second. Gunshots separated by 25 minutes. Ah! I have it! I have it! I sure hope I have it. Remember the case with the Steel Samurai? The murderer in this case had the same idea as the murderer in that case. Maya! If we don't figure this out, we'll never overturn Edgeworth's guilty verdict. I've got a hunch, and I'm gonna run with it. Yeah, we've already basically lost. We've got nothing to lose. You just watch and let me know if I say anything that sounds fishy. I think I've said this shows up every single episode as far as I know. Your Honor, the testimony just now has cleared up this entire case. I finally realized the truth. No, Mr. Karma. No. Wrong. A man was shot that night But it wasn't Edgeworth who did the shooting. Listen, rookie. At the time of the murder, one boat was on that lake. This was shown by the witness's photograph. The defendant, Edgeworth, and the victim, Robert Hammond, were on that boat. There was a gunshot fired on that boat, and Robert Hammond fell into the lake. The distance of the shooting was 1 meter. It couldn't have been suicide. Well, the guilty party has to be the other man on that boat. It is hard to imagine, but let us continue. But this assumes that the victim was shot at 15 minutes after midnight. We have photographic evidence of the time of the shooting. The time stamped on the photo says, 15 past midnight. What could possibly go wrong? Hooray, but the fish pun's coming back. Larry heard a gunshot 25 minutes before that. Robert Hammond was killed then, 25 minutes before. Explain who this is sitting on the boat. Edgeworth. Oh man, this is complicated. Okay, let me think about this. The body of the victim was in the lake. This is complicated. I gotta think about this. That's what everyone keeps saying. Edgeworth and Hammond. But it has to be Edgeworth. It can't be two other people. I think we're gonna go Edgeworth and the murderer. I don't know. Okay. In this situation, save. Of course, it was Edgeworth and the murderer. The music changed, so I think I'm doing good. After the murderer killed Robert Hammond at 11:50, he assumed the guise of Mr. Hammond and met Edgeworth. Oh dear. Tricky, tricky. Just like the last case, sort of. Yes, Edgeworth won't tell us why he went to the lake that night. However, I have a hunch. That night, Robert Hammond called Edgeworth to the lake. Now, Edgeworth didn't know Robert Hammond's face that well. That's why he didn't suspect anything when the murderer took Robert Hammond's place. Ludicrous! Tell us the name of the murderer. The murderer's name, right, it's... I actually don't know. I don't know because he's never told us. Aha! The murderer is the caretaker of the boat shop, that old man. At 11:50, he was the one who killed Robert Hammond, the caretaker of the boat shop. Why would he need to be on the lake to shoot someone? May I suggest that the real scene of this crime was not in a boat? Where did the murder take place? Well, it could have just happened here. Shoot him. It had to be around here because at the time, we know Larry Butts had been in the lake and then had come in and he was just about to go home and he heard a bang, and that was 11:50. And then he left, and then at 12:25, two people were out on a boat, and we took the picture. So the first shot had to be somewhere in Somewhere on land, anyway. I'm gonna say the boat shop. The boat shop where he lives. That way he could meet with the victim without anyone seeing. Do you have proof that the boat shop was the scene of the crime? Oh, not that I know of. Maybe. Recall Larry's testimony, if you will. Okay, this is what I was trying to explain with mouse pointing. That night he was on the lake, searching. He finds it, returns the boat. Then, just as he's starting to head for home, he hears a gunshot. He heard a gunshot, Your Honor, even though he was wearing headphones at the time. In other words, the gunshot was very, very close by. And where would that be if he had just returned a boat? Dun dun dun. What happened that night on Gourd Lake? From the beginning. Yes, Your Honor. Not really, but we gotta roll with it, Maya. We gotta roll with it. So, that night, the caretaker of the boat shop called Robert Hammond to his shop. Bang! This was around 11:50. That was when the gunshot that Larry heard was fired. After that, the caretaker put on Robert Hammond's coat and became Robert Hammond. Then he got in the boat with Edgeworth and went out into the middle of the lake. Who fired the pistol on the boat? The boat shop caretaker. Of course it was the murderer who shot the pistol. He shot twice. Both missed Edgeworth on purpose. Yes. Why would he shoot twice if he didn't mean to hit anyone? Details, details! I can figure it out. The moment you run out of explanations is the moment you lose. Tell us why the murderer had to fire twice. To create a witness, he knew where Lola Hart was, or Lotta Hart was. If you only fire once, no one is looking. Fire twice, and someone will be looking at the second shot. The murderer lifts his pistol and fires one shot. That ensures that anyone who heard the shot would look at the lake. Indeed, Miss Hart did exactly that after hearing the first gunshot. Next, the murderer waits a bit and he fires again. Then, the murderer jumps from the boat himself, leaving the pistol in the boat behind him. I see. To someone looking from the edge of the lake, it would appear that one of the men on the boat had shot the other. The murderer didn't know about the automatic camera, of course. That's why he shot twice, to draw attention to the boat. I'm surprised the camera didn't take more pictures, actually. But whatever. Once you realize that, everything else falls into place. The boat shop caretaker swam back to his shop, and he put on Mr. Hammond's wet coat. Then he put Mr. Hammond's wet coat back on the body, and threw the body in the lake. This is what happened, Your Honor. These are the events that transpired the night on Gourd Lake. Ha! Take that indeed! Bailiff, bring out the witness from before. The boat shop caretaker, quickly! Haha! We're making good progress now. Von Karma must be real angry. Oh, hey Miles. Why did you go to the lake that night? What Wright has said was mostly correct. Astonishingly so, actually. In fact, if he just told us some of the details about why he was at the lake, we could have solved this way earlier, I think. Several days ago, I received a letter. The letter was signed Robert Hammond. He asked me to come to the boat shop by the lake at midnight on Christmas Eve. He said he had something very important to discuss. DL6. The mysterious DL6 incident. The witness has disappeared, and he's not at the boat shop either. Aha! Find him, quickly! Someone catch that old man and his parrot! Well. Mr. Von Karma, your witness has disappeared. The search warrant has already been issued. Von Karma is not impressed. It goes without saying that I cannot declare a verdict under these circumstances. I will extend the trial until tomorrow, the final day. Request that the police department utilize all its forces to find that witness / suspect. Because he's probably a better suspect than Miles is now with the current set of evidence. One more thing. Just who is that boat shop caretaker? Oh, yeah, maybe we should figure out the guy's name before you call him to court? Pfft. I want him, and I want to know who he is. Well, no confetti parties yet, but I'd say today was very successful. Miles, you're almost free. Yeah, that was a good day. I mean, sure, he was guilty for a second before Larry charged in, but we did a good job. Yeah, Larry actually helped out, amazingly. His unique testimony. He did help. I just wish our cases weren't so down to the wire. Yeah, sometimes I feel like we should learn a little bit more about law, and the judge should follow some rules. Just a few rules. Hey, Edgeworth. Don't look so pained? Yeah, everything's looking pretty good right now. Just try to smile. He's not really a smiler, though. It's not over for me yet. Right. Uh-oh. Now what? Well, you should probably tell your lawyer. Always tell your lawyer the whole truth, guys. They can share it or not with the judge as they deem fit, but let them know, and then they can probably help you out the most. There is not much time left, you're correct. Just say it. Spit it out. A nightmare. A memory of a crime that I committed. Wait. A murder. Dun dun dun. I wonder what that's all about. I guess we're gonna have to wait until the next episode if you're on YouTube. Twitch folk are a little bit luckier than that. Thanks for watching, folks. Hope you've enjoyed and have a great day.